Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for refusing to remove certain foods from my house because my husband's friend is allergic? My husband and I recently moved into the same city as his childhood best friend, Steve. Steve is allergic to all nuts, legumes and soy. Because of this, my husband wants our house to have a rule that we're not to have nuts in the house in case he comes over. I think this is a dumb rule and refuse to comply. I did agree to keep my nut-based products in a separate container, but my husband thinks that this isn't enough. I'm allergic to wheat, and we still have it in the house. I also think it's unnecessary. I don't know the extent of Steve's allergies, but I do not. It's not immediately life-threatening, he doesn't carry an EpiPen, and he also works in food service and frequently handles nuts. Being in the same room isn't going to hurt him. As long as we don't serve him food with nuts and watch for cross-contamination, we should be fine. The foods that Steve is allergic to are a big part of my diet. Also, this is where I live, not Steve, so I feel like I shouldn't have to cater to the possibility that he might come over at some point in future. But my husband is worried he'll accidentally cause his friend to have an allergic reaction if we don't keep the entire house free of allergens. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go along with that? Top comments. Steve is a visitor and may become a frequent one, given that he's your husband's best friend. He's working around the things he's allergic to and doesn't carry an EpiPen for emergencies, so there's no need to do anything other than exclude the allergens from any dishes you share with Steve. Your husband acts like the house needs decontamination because Steve is moving in and becoming the new sister wife? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Why is your husband worried about keeping Steve's allergens out of your house but not your allergens? So, your husband thinks it's okay to have your allergen in the house that you live in, but draws the line for an allergen of a friend that may be an occasional visitor? Not the a-hole. I would tell your husband that wheat is now banned from the house too. Or all the products stay, and Steve doesn't visit the house. Who prioritizes a friend over their spouse? Shaking head. Not the a-hole, but your husband needs to explain why Steve's allergies are more important to him than yours. Next story. Am I the a-hole for excluding my daughter's best friend from her birthday party? My 36F daughter's 13F birthday was last weekend. There's this trampoline park in town that offers sleepover parties where the kids could play for a few hours, watch a movie, and have a sleepover on the trampolines. Her school is very small, so there are only 20 students in her entire year. When we were booking the event, she said to only book 19 places. I asked her if she was sure she wasn't missing out someone, but she assured me there were only 19 kids in her class, and I was just misremembering. Fast forward to her birthday, and this girl, Camila, shows up with an entire box full of gifts, teddy bears, perfume, candles, nail polish, flowers, chocolates, etc. I remembered picking up my from school at the beginning of the school year and seeing her chatting and being very friendly with Camila, so I assumed they were quite good friends. When Camila went up to hug my daughter and wish her a happy birthday, she lightly pushed her away and told Camila she couldn't attend as we forgot to book her place. I apologized to Camila and her mother and offered to talk to the people in charge and pay for her place, but my daughter insisted that Camila couldn't come. Camila was very distraught over this and started sobbing. I pulled my daughter aside and asked her why Camila couldn't join, even though they used to be friendly and she'd invited every other student in her year. She said that Camila was just really weird, obsessive, and creepy, and she didn't want to be friends with her anymore. I asked her if Camila was bullying her, and she said no, she just didn't want to be around Camila. Camila's mother had found out about the party through another parent and Camila decided to surprise my daughter knowing she hadn't been given an invite. I returned the gifts to Camila, apologized again, and gently told her that there weren't enough spaces. Her mother started screaming at me, telling me that I was a grown adult woman bullying a preteen girl. I told her that it was my daughter's birthday party, she could invite whoever she wanted. She accused me of raising my daughter to be a bully, and that she couldn't just invite the entire class and exclude one girl. She claimed that Camila was my daughter's best friend, and she had the right to be invited. I told her that my daughter's a teenager, not a 5-year-old, she can't be forced to invite the entire class just to be nice. I said that I didn't want to raise a doormat. I didn't want to teach her to value the feelings of others at the expense of her own. If my daughter feels uncomfortable around someone, then I prioritize her well-being over that of a stranger's. Camila's mother is now talking to the teachers to punish my daughter for bullying. I've tried explaining to her that my daughter was simply setting her boundaries, she shouldn't have to face consequences for that. Camila's mother said that I was an evil b*tch who took joy in bullying little girls. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. You are the a-hole. The real issue here is your daughter lied to you about the class size so she could exclude this one person. It's possible that Camila makes your daughter uncomfortable, but it's also possible that your daughter is being unnecessarily mean. With teenagers, it could go either way. I think you should go to the school and find out what's going on. You have no way of knowing if your daughter actually is being a bully until you find out for yourself. If she is bullying your Camila, you need to know so you can correct the behavior. Don't be so quick to believe your daughter is innocent here. Someone told Camila she could come to this party. Ask yourself this question: how did Camila know where the party was and what time it started? Edit. Just so you all know, OP added the information about Camila's mom finding out the party details from another parent after the majority of people voted her the a-hole and suggested that her daughter was mean girl. I was one of the first people who commented on this post and that bit of info wasn't there. OP is as manipulative as her daughter is. What your daughter did was mean. She invited the entire class with one exclusion. Your daughter is the bully. You are the a-hole for not shutting down the party right then and there, for your daughter lying to you about how many kids were in her class. Yes, she can invite who she wants if she does it openly and honestly. She didn't. She lied to you, and no, your daughter wasn't setting boundaries. She was cruel to one kid. I suspect she made a big deal out of giving out the invites as well, given that Camila knew exactly where and what time the party was at. So, you knew there were 20 kids in her class, but you believed her when she kept insisting otherwise? You also knew Camila, thought they were friends, but didn't know she wasn't invited? Were you not involved with the invitations at all? You want a kid who can speak up for herself. Great. But she didn't do that. She didn't tell you she didn't want to invite Camila. She lied to you to get her way, so she could purposely exclude the girl. She lied to Camila in front of you. You also lied to them. You didn't talk to the people in charge, you talked to your daughter and then decided to tell them there weren't enough places. This isn't setting boundaries. You are the a-hole. You are the a-hole. When you are trying to fall asleep tonight, you should think of this situation and imagine you are a 13-year-old girl, excited to be going to a classmate's birthday party, selecting and bringing all the great gifts, only to be turned away in front of all your classmates because the birthday girl doesn't like you. Experiences like this are ones that stick with a person for life, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You are the a-hole. Your daughter was being an a-hole, and instead of telling her to cut it out, say thank you for the gifts and be nice, you backed up her bad behavior. Your daughter lied to you, that's an issue. It's likely that one of the other kids invited Camila because they wanted to see her get turned away, nasty. And your daughter did exactly that, poor Camila. You're kidding yourself if you want to call this behavior boundary setting. You are the a-hole, she doesn't have to invite everyone. But inviting all but one is mean. Then when she showed up, you did not handle that well and publicly embarrassed a little girl and her mother. You could have pulled the mother aside and explained the situation. You were not aware, and kindly suggest the kids stick around for a bit then leave. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my stepmom take things that don't belong to her? My dad and his wife, Dora, had a terrible fight yesterday which ended with him basically telling her to pack up her crap and leave. It's obvious that they are going to get divorced. Thank God my dad has an ironclad prenup so she won't get anything. My dad left the house and told me to call him when the bad woman is gone so that he can return home. I went to help Dora pack her stuff so that she could leave faster. I saw her packing the jewelries and I had to stop her and told her these are not hers. She got mad and said of course it's hers, these are gifts. I reminded her that no, these are family heirlooms, and my dad told her she is allowed to use them sometimes and not that it's hers. She got really angry but went to pack everything else while cursing me under her breath. After she was done she went to get into the car and I had to stop her again. I reminded her that the car is in my dad's name, therefore it's not hers to take. She got even angrier and yelled, "It was a gift to me." I said, "Okay, but are you dumb? It doesn't matter that it was a gift, it wasn't in her name." She was an idiot for not making him put it in her name. No, she can't do crap about it. She called me a bad woman and left crying. Top comments. Not the a-hole, your dad is for not dealing with his problems himself. He needs to be the adult in this situation so you aren't put in the middle. Not the a-hole, but your dad is. He should have been the one dealing with his affairs. It's effed up to have your kid do it. Opie replies. Seriously, sometimes I feel like I'm the parent here. No, but seriously, he is usually a really good dad. Info. Were you in the room when your father told her, "These are family heirlooms," and my dad told her she is allowed to use them sometimes and not that it's hers? How old are you that you still live at home yet you're privy to every agreement and transaction between your father and his wife? Opie replies. Yes, I was there. I'm 18. Not the a-hole, because you said your dad already had an ironclad prenup so she won't get anything. She's definitely lying about the cars and jewelry being given as gifts since your dad said she can use them sometimes and they're not under her name. It's not a gift if it's something you can borrow. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I refused to return a Taylor Swift ticket that StubHub is demanding back from my coworker? My F27 coworker Emily, F27, sold me a Taylor Swift Eras Tour ticket last November for one of her shows later this year for $700. Expensive, yes. But the seats are fantastic, just at the end of the catwalk 7 rows back or something. I have been a huge Taylor Swift fan for a very long time, and I felt like I hit the jackpot when she sold me my ticket because I know how disgustingly overpriced tickets are currently reselling for, especially for her North America shows. Before Emily sold me the ticket, she had it up for sale on StubHub for $2,700, but nobody bought it. I knew this when buying the ticket and assumed that once I bought the ticket, she'd take it down. A few weeks ago when I saw Emily in the office, she told me that she had forgotten to take the ticket off of StubHub when I bought it, and someone else bought it earlier that week. I didn't think too much of it because I figured that she'd have to just contact StubHub to explain that she didn't have the ticket anymore and that would be that. Today, I got a DM from Emily telling me that I need to send the ticket back to her. Apparently, StubHub has a policy where if someone sells a ticket they don't have, they're on the hook to pay for a similar replacement ticket for the buyer at an equal or greater amount than the price it originally sold for. This means that she'd likely have to pay $2,700 or more to StubHub for her mistake. She was apologetic, but I am devastated. I've grown up listening to Taylor and I am such a huge fan. Going to this concert truly meant so much to me, and I can't afford to see her anywhere else other than my city. I am so sad. I haven't answered Emily's message yet. She has offered to give me half of the sale profit for sending her the ticket back so I can maybe find another ticket, but here is where I may be the a-hole. I want to ask her for all of the profit so I can at least have a fighting chance at a nosebleed seat or something. I don't think it's right for her to F up the way she has and still make a profit from this. So Reddit, would I be the a-hole for saying that the only way I'm sending back the ticket is if I get the full profit from the sale? Top comments. Actually, she sold you the ticket. You owe her nothing. This was her fault and only her fault, and you can keep the ticket. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She already sold you the ticket for a price she was agreeable to, namely $700. So she has already been aptly compensated and does not deserve any more money. If you return the ticket, she would get $2,700 from StubHub and still have the $700 you paid her in November. All of that $2,700 should be given to you, if you return the ticket. Not saying you should return the ticket, but if you do, then you should get the $2,700 and she keeps the money from November that she was happy with at the time. Her mistake, that is causing you a serious detriment, should not net her a single penny more than she already received. You deserve the full sale price from StubHub, and hopefully you can find a ticket and at least be able to attend the show. Also, I wouldn't want anyone to question whether she really forget to remove the StubHub listing or left it up hoping that as the prices climb closer to the concert date someone wouldn't ultimately be willing to pay the $2,700, and if not, she had already gotten your $700. A no-lose situation for her. But no way that is what she did, it was just a mistake on her part. Not the a-hole, this is entirely on Emily. She messed up and this is her issue. What you do from here is your choice, but either way you are not an a-hole. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel our posts.